Hi, this is Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners at Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. And today we are joined by a very special guest, Darryl Threat, who is also one of our colleagues and fellow realtor with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. He tried to leave us briefly, but that was not going to stick. So
It did
he's
not.
back, and we're super happy to have him back, and we miss him. He's out of our Worthington office. And then we also have with us Jake. Yes, I almost forgot your name. Who is on my team. And Jonathan, our intern, who is now in high school and has gotten a lot taller since last year. But today we're just going to kind of talk about some of the interesting, funny stories that we've kind of ran into while showing homes and that sort of thing. Just kind of the things we run into and maybe some myths that are true and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're just going to hang out.
Yeah, it'll be like hanging out with Darryl. We never get to see. So
I know. I need to come out here more, but like if I came out here more, I would always probably just walk over to the Ferrari dealer
Right?
and just, sit there and, probably get arrested eventually for stalking.
yes,
And Porsche.
we do like driving by like the toy mart and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's our favorite.
Nice stuff.
We like driving by there.
Yeah.
But so why don't you start us out with an interesting story you had?
Okay, so most of my stories revolve around showings. So I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want to hear an animal story,
Oh dear,
a person story?
I think animal. Just
that animal. Yeah. As long as the animal doesn't get harmed, then we're okay.
Okay. Okay.
He's got to leave that one part.
No, he didn't get, well, I think he eventually met his demise, but I digress. So I was in Dublin showing some homes and with a couple. And, we're just going from house to house talking and, doing what we do. And I'm walking, there's a long walkway to the home. And I'm walking and I see this big cat just laying at the doorstep. And I'm like, wow, that's a big kitty. Huge, right? And as we walk closer, the cat raises his head and it's a raccoon.
Oh dear.
And his eyes are all watered, he's frothing, he's obviously sick. It's the middle of the day.
Distemper, yeah.
Yeah, so you never see him in the middle of the day.
No.
And so I did one of those quick halts, like they're behind me and I stop.
Like, whoop,
Yeah.
my car.
And we didn't see that house that day. We carefully walked it back because he was starting, he or she did not look happy.
Yeah, I was working out at a condo community one time, and for some reason I think I'm Snow White and that all animals love me. Yeah, so I thought,
I did see a butterfly land on your nose once.
so like, oh, hey, here's this raccoon, right? So I started to go up to it, and the lady I worked with at the community was like, no, it has distemper. I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. She's like, no. So, yeah, he also met his demise because he had distemper.
You walked up to the raccoons?
Tried to.
You were,
I thought I could.
Mm.
I was a
I
little
don't know
younger
about
than
that
her.
one.
uh,
I would not do that.
no, that's a wild animal. But
I was like, oh, it's cute. It was a baby. I'm like, oh, I'll go to it. Yeah, I've learned better now. I'm older now.
my AA in our office, Martha, hi Martha,
Martha's great.
she, when she was young, they had a raccoon that they fed and eventually let into their house. And the raccoon would just like come in the house and sit on the couch and
My
hang
brother
out
had
with them.
3 that lived in his house.
What?
And the one, I called her Jabba the Coon because she was like 50 pounds.
Jeez.
And her name was Miko. But like when she knew he was getting ready to leave, she would start going through the kitchen cabinets, opening the doors and just throwing stuff out. So she was very temperamental.
And this was a raccoon.
Was a raccoon. And then he had another one named Ricky, because why wouldn't you name your raccoon Ricky?
That's
Who lived
fair.
in a drawer. And like whenever you'd open the drawer, he'd like slam it shut so that you couldn't see him because he liked it nice and dark.
What?
Yeah, so, but
The problem I have with that is that he lived in a drawer, not that his name was Ricky, by
Yeah.
the way.
But he liked the drawer because he would like slam it shut. Like every time he tried to open it, he'd get mad and shut it.
Hmm.
Like he's going back in his den, I guess.
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. We don't adopt raccoons.
Well, I'm from Lake Erie. Like, and someone earlier tried to convince me again, as people do from Cleveland, that it's a suburb of Cleveland, but
It is.
it is not a suburb of Cleveland. It is 45 minutes to the west.
Exactly.
Does not
45
make
minutes.
A suburb.
Listen, if you are not in danger out there, it's not Cleveland.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's not Cleveland.
Right.
I did not grow up in Cleveland.
No, yeah.
And people try to tell me it's a suburb all the time. I'm like, there's no way. Do you know how many times I went to Cleveland as a kid?
How many?
0.
I
I also didn't travel by plane or anything else either, because my dad was a paratrooper.
I meet people all the time. I didn't know that. That's
Yeah, apparently he was tired of jumping out of planes, so he just didn't get on planes.
He thought every plane he got on, he just had to jump off.
I meet people all the time who say they're from Cleveland, and then I get excited, and I'm like, "Oh, where are you from?" And they're like, "Oh, Mentor," and I'm like,
Not Cleveland.
"That's not Cleveland."
No, it's not Cleveland. Like, I get excited when people say they're from Warren just because of the hot dog shop.
There's a what?
In Warren, there's a place called the Hot Dog Shop.
Yeah.
It's a 50s diner where you all sit around the big U shape, kind of like Chef Onette in Upper Arlington. And they just have great hot dogs. Chef Onette's great too.
Yeah.
Jenna.
I like hot dogs.
Yeah, you've been to Chef Onette. Yeah, he loves Chef.
Yeah. Good.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, because his mom used to live over there, so we would go to Chef Onette all the time. And there's also a good bakery too.
Mm.
Yeah, and I lived in Arlington for a long time. But I was showing a house one time, and I walked in the house, and in the middle of the great room, there were 2 empty cages. The doors were open. And I'm like, what the heck do they have walking around this house? It was a duck and something else. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. But it was a white duck just walking around the house.
What?
I mean, the things you see.
I know. I walked. So I showed a house, and they never told us that they had a whole chicken coop in the garage.
In the garage.
Yeah. So we walked into the garage, and there's like a heat lamp, and it's winter time. So they have a
wow.
heat lamp, and they have chickens in it. And then in another room on the other side, there was, they did tell us about this. There was a pig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law has a pig.
Really? Like a big one, or?
He's a potbelly.
Yeah, this one was like that big pig from Green Acres, like Arnold. It was huge.
Yeah, he's not huge.
And he was not, and they said he was friendly, but like,
None of them are friendly.
I'm not,
You don't really want to test that out.
Yeah, her pig actually picks the hair off of her cat. So her cat's like bald. Looking something like that. Yeah. Good times.
I didn't even know that was I'm learning so much today.
People and strange pets.
Yeah,
Darryl, a very important question. Are you a cat or a dog person?
I am a dog person.
Okay, good.
I don't,
None of us are cat. Well, Jonathan's a cat person.
you're a cat person?
Well, where I live, we can't have a dog, so you know.
Oh.
It's not a cat for now.
So, like, I don't trust cats.
Well, exactly. They're sneaky.
They're sneaky and,
Sneaky little
and,
bastards.
and they don't really need you. You know?
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. He heard me say that earlier.
If I'm buying your food and giving you shelter, I need you to need me. I need you to come. When I walk in the door, I need to be greeted.
Exactly.
You know, all that stuff. Like me and my ex-wife had a cat, and I would walk into the house and the cat would like look at me like, why are you here? And I'm like,
Yeah.
that automatically made me dislike him.
Oh, yeah.